Napoleon is Ridley Scott's most recent epic and is about, well, Napoleon Bonaparte's rise to power as Emperor of France, his many victories as the greatest strategist of all time, and his domestic troubles in his private life. While I don't think everything that Ridley Scott touches turns necessarily into gold, when he makes a great film, he absolutely hits it out of the park. The man made Alien, for God's sake. We can cut him some slack on his lesser films. And with this film starring Joaquin Phoenix, one of my favorite actors in this day and age, I couldn't have been more excited for Napoleon. Of course, I had my reservations about this movie. I mean, a lot of the trailers and their uses of music were throwing me off, but overall, I was still really hyped for this movie. And it's good. It's good. But it has a lot of problems, unfortunately. Alright, first and foremost, let's get the good stuff out of the way. By far, the best part about this movie are the battle sequences. The battles in this movie are things of pure spectacle. The production design, the cinematography, the staggering number of extras in these sequences. It's epic, absolutely jaw-dropping, and the majority of these scenes give us great insight into Napoleon's keen eye for strategy. The acting is also fantastic in the movie, both from Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby. Both of them have their own sorts of subtle acting moments where, even though, for the most part, they play these characters as very stoic figures, there's always some humanity that lies beneath their faces, and they do let that show from time to time. You do see just how vulnerable Napoleon can be and how conflicted his strategic side was to his domestic life problems with his wife, and I really did like that insight. And like I said before, the visuals in this movie are gorgeous. This movie has such a concept of the size and scale of Napoleon's life and the battles that he was in, and you really do feel it all. And the music is also really good too. There is a lot of good classical orchestra music, but added with a whole bunch of almost godlike low choir music to really set the stage. It is a very long movie, and I could easily see that being a lot of people's biggest problems, and while I do have my own problems with that, overall, I do feel like this movie needs that length, mainly to show just the complexity of his domestic life and just how brilliant of a strategist and a military man he was. With that said, however, yes, this is a very long movie, and there are plenty of times where you could really feel that length and the story just feels like it's drawing out. And I really did feel that, mainly with the romance, because even though Joaquin and Kirby are always bringing their A game to these performances, what they're given in terms of the script just results in a very wooden romance overall. Every single time they share a scene together, it's like 3 minutes long, and they are always in the exact same position, sitting on a couch, looking at each other, all the time, and it really doesn't give us the best insight into their relationship. And in my opinion, that delves into what is the biggest problem with this movie for me: the balance. This movie struggles to find a good balance between the three sides of Napoleon's life: the strategist, the emperor, and the lover. The movie doesn't know what it wants to focus on exactly, so overall, a lot of the politics of the movie are very rushed. You don't see a lot of the battle sequences for as great as they are, and even though the actors are bringing their all, the romance feels very wooden. According to Ridley Scott, there is a 4-hour long cut of this movie, and even though, yes, the movie is already very long, I can easily see that because the first half of this movie feels very choppy and rushed, and I could easily see a lot of scenes being cut from that. And the reasons why I focus so much on the problems with the pacing in the story is because the problem with the characters is that they're just not that interesting. There are little tidbits of intrigue thrown into the mix with each of the characters, but overall, there was nothing that I could really grasp onto each character. And that's mainly the fault of the first act and how rushed it feels. I didn't have time to really connect with any of the characters. Did I enjoy this movie? Yes, I did, but at the same time, I can't help but see all the missed opportunities. The battles are incredible, the acting is great, the cinematography feels massive, and the music feels heavy, but the romance feels wooden, the politics feel rushed, and while the characters are intriguing, you don't care about them. Visually and technically, this movie is a masterpiece, but storytelling-wise, That's where I feel like just too many details were lacking. I'm going to give Napoleon a B. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best. And don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.